What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to BT Willa's Garage. Today we're going to take a look at the Yakima Timberline Towers with HD bars, and we're going to outfit a Yakima Skybox on that new setup that we're installing on my 5th Gen 4Runner TRD Pro. This kit will fit any 5th Gen 4Runner with raised roof bars or roof rails, so it doesn't matter what the model is, whether it's an off-road or an SR5. Real quick on the Timberline Towers, they do offer extended capacity beyond what the stock crossbars offer. They are able to attach to the existing raised rails that you have. So think about a 4Runner where you can stick your finger in between the bottom of the rail and the top of the roof. They're versatile because they move easily. They're secure, sleek, and most importantly, quiet. The HD bars are one of the burliest bars offered ever, and I'm talking crossbars here. They're engineered aluminum. They use T-slot attachments. They integrate into tie downs, so you'll see on the end you're able to attach a strap. They come in multiple lengths for appearance and usage. They're black powder coated, and they have a rubber filled T-slot at the top that's replaceable in case you wear it out or it gets too thin to where it's rubbing your Skybox or whatever you have sitting on it. Lastly, the Yakima Skybox. I'm going with the 16 cubic foot, known as the Skybox 16. That's about as big as you can get on the 4Runner without the hatch hitting it and scratching your hatch. They do offer sizes 12 through 21 cubic feet. The crossbar spread is able to be installed between 24 and 36 inches. They're versatile, sleek, aerodynamic. They're tool-free because they use super latches. It takes about 2 minutes to install. They do offer the ability to get into the box from both sides of the truck, which is nice. It has a great carbonite look or carbon fiber look. They're able to use SKS locks, and the red from the Yakima logo actually matches the TRD Pro wheels, which is pretty sweet. Today's video is brought to us by Oedro. They make these quality off-road floor mats that you can see here in front of me. I have used Husky mats for quite some time. This company reached out and said, hey, we like your channel, try out these floor mats. So I'm going to try them out. Here's my Huskies. They get a little dirty. I do use them for off-road on the beach, every now and then going into the woods. And it's hard to get them cleaned up properly without making them slick. So I'm looking forward to trying these out. The design is very similar. Obviously, these look a lot nicer because they're new. They come branded nicely and have enough space down here to hold some water, mud, etc., and protect your carpet. So I'm going to throw them in, show you guys how they look, and we'll keep going with the Yakima build. So they do line up with the factory tabs. You just turn them to hold them into place. Don't forget to slide it behind your gas pedal there, but that looks really clean. I think I'm going to run these instead of the Huskies. So we'll put a link in the description. You guys enjoy those if you end up picking them up. So it's pretty warm outside. I decided to step in the office and put the tower, the Timberline Tower and bar together in here. So I already did one, and it's working nicely. Pay attention to the orientation of the strap. They're on the inside, and you'll see why that's important when we go to put it on. But let's take a quick look at what we need to do to get this mounted up while we're in the AC. So again, this is the HD bar. If you have the round bars, then you need a different adapter. But for the HD bar in 55 inches, we use the SL adapter. And this actually sits the opposite of what your mind might think. It's going to go in like so. And we're going to find where that screw is on the bottom to start. There is a little screw that we need to take out of the bar itself in order to slide these on. We will look at that as well. All right, let's start with one. So there's indentions here, you press and you pull back. And now this bolt that runs through is what loosens this strap. So for a 4Runner, which is the example we're looking at, but for many vehicles, your stock rails are girthier than this comes shipped from the factory. So as we loosen that, we can pull further out. So don't be scared if you went to test it and it didn't fit. Now, in order to mount the adapter, we need enough space to get to this bolt head. So what we're going to do is switch back to the top, like so. Now that we have this, again, Kind of looks upside down, but that's what's going to slide on the bar. Now that we have that there, we're going to pull this bolt back, hold it with the strap. Since I'm recording, I need to. And we're going to tighten this guy down. Now, Yakima says to get it tight to 3 clicks. Don't do that now, or it'll be too flush to fit on the bar in my experience. So let's go ahead and do the other tower as far as the adapter mount, and then we'll put them on the bars. So at the end of your HD bars, you see this little screw head here, the tool that comes with, you know, everything you just purchased. You don't have to buy this. We'll release that. Let me see if I can do this quickly. It's a pretty long thread, or a long bolt. Oops. Alright, but once you get that out, you can slide this end piece off. And again, the straps go on the inside. So we're going to slide all the way down to prevent having to take both of these out. And it should look a little something like this. And just loosen the metal guide if you need more headroom, like we talked about. Make sure your plastic piece is snapped in. So there's one. We're going to take it to 37, which is marked here on both sides. And then strap on the inside. Plastic piece snug. Number 2. Need a little bit looser. That's why I told you not to tighten them from the get-go, because they need a little slack. Alright, and I said 37, I meant 47. Sorry. Okay, so here's the tricky part that if you don't read the instructions, you wouldn't get it tight enough. We're ready to crank down the adapter kit. So we're going to start turning. It's pulling in on the HD bar. And I want you to listen. We're going for 3 clicks, and it takes some force. 1. That's tight. We're going to tighten up the other side, but before we do, might as well just go ahead and put this bolt back in to keep the end caps from not being in existence, I guess, or falling off. Alright, do that, and then I'm going to tighten the other one down 3 at 47. So here's where a step ladder comes in handy. We're going to get up right in front of these covers. Now yours may be silver, whatever, it's the same thing. We want to get our screwdriver or our pry tool right above this trim and below the plastic, right there. Following me? There's 2 clips on this side and there's 2 clips on this side. I'm gonna pop these 2 up first, push my pry tool all the way through, and push back on the inside of this panel. It's gonna push this out so that we don't break those clips. So my apologies, my trim tool was too big, so I ended up using the super thin screwdriver, and you can see what I just did. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get all the way through there yet, but don't break this. Be easy on it. Just like that, and we have no broken clips. It looks like it's about to start raining, so I'm just going to do this one myself, but about right here, and then push your screwdriver through after you lift up just a little bit and push back on the other side. So there's 3 more steps before we take off the factory crossbars. There's 2 bolts here that need to be removed. I don't know what size this is exactly, but my steel chainsaw and weed eater tool pop them out. Next, we need to unloosen these knobs, and then there's a stopper. You see it over there, like right there? There's a rubber stopper you can use a flathead screwdriver to pry out. After that, it should just shimmy right on out easily for you. It's starting to rain, so I'm gonna have to pause. Now with the new Yakima setup, since we're not sliding in and strapping down, we don't need to reinstall these stoppers. So in case I ever put this back on, I'm gonna make my life easier and wait to put them on until they're slid in. Just tape that to them. All right, let's go ahead and reinstall our cap. Probably be helpful if I had the right one. All right, and I know I'm sweating worse than your ex-girlfriend in church, but y'all have to forgive me for that. Back on, wipe the sweat in. That's what I use for wax. It's not going anywhere. There are arrows, so I'm going to face those toward the front of the truck, like the hood. It's starting to rain again, so I'm going to put you back inside. Got the arrow facing forward, and guys, I have no idea what the spacing is going to be for the Skybox, so don't take my word for it, but I will confirm. So here's a close-up of the bolt that I was adjusting. Just like we did when we put the bars together themselves, you want to crank it down, and it takes, you know, dozens of turns to get tight, and then you want to listen for those 3 really loud clicks, kind of like a gas cap going on. That's when you know it's tight. Now, before I do that, if you're planning on putting up anything immediately, for example, I have this Skybox that's about to go up, you probably want to wait so you can move the bars back and forth to adjust for your, you know, whatever item you're putting up there. Now, once you get them tight, take these caps. They have little indentions here for where we press in. Just line those up. There's little knobs at the bottom, and push until it clicks. So this is the Yakima Skybox. Right now in 2021, these are weeks, months behind. So I picked this one up used on Facebook Marketplace. So what we're gonna do here is underneath, this is where it clips to the HD bars. They have these teeth. And so those, if I pull up on this handle, they come down. We'll grab the bars, and then when we set this handle flat, they lock into place, okay? Now, they do have, it looks like 12 inches or so of travel. So if I make an adjustment on this bolt here and go underneath, you can see I can move it forward or back. So let me tighten that back down. Now, with that being said, if we think about it, we need this thing to be as forward as possible on the 4Runner, or you're going to scratch your spoiler and not be able to open your trunk all the way. Exhibit A. It can happen. So I'm making some adjustments now, and I'll let you know where I get it dialed in. For the bar placement, if you're running the system on a 5th gen, these rails are short, so they don't go the full length of the roof. They really only go to the, you know, the passenger back window. So you want to mount your bars as forward as possible. And then I've got my back bars maybe 7 inches from the back. So you are able to do this with one person as long as you can pick up the box. I'll put how much it weighs below. And with this Timberline kit, you know, you prevent scratches to your roof because it's so far up that you can just get it on top of the HD bars and slide it around. They do make replacement rubber. If you ever wear out this little rubber piece right here, you can replace that if you scratch it up doing stuff like this, but no one can really see it anyway. You know, if you wear it out though, it's good to know that there is a replacement. All right, so I got the other side in. I had to go more forward here in order to keep from the trunk from hitting. And here's what it looks like now, just as another quick test before I lock it down. It's super close, but not hitting. And so hopefully with added weight, that won't change, or I may have to go forward more. So since we didn't lock anything down permanently or all the way tight, these have the ability to move. But what we're gonna do now that I have them where I want them is tighten the position knob pretty tight. That's gonna stay for the remainder of our ownership. And then you wanna tighten this knob down. And that's just adjusting the clamp up as far as it'll go down here. Now that's tough to see. And then you wanna clamp it toward the back of the car. May have done it too much. Loosen, loosen, loosen. Still did it too much. Loosen, loosen. That's locked in, not going anywhere. So there we have it. The Skybox is installed properly. Let's make sure the trunk still opens. And it looks so good. All right, I'm gonna risk it, not even touch it. Where does it wanna go? Whew, no scratches. 1 inch of clearance. And then let's measure that depth. Front of the bar to the front of the back bar, we've got 33 inches.